So most people talk about getting rich like it's some fantasy, it's something that happens to only other people. The truth is, the only reason you're not rich yet is because of how you think. Now, I'm not talking about luck, I'm not talking about your background, and I'm not talking about timing. I'm talking purely about perspective, because once you change the way you think, you change the way you act. And once you change the way you act, you change everything that happens next from that. Now, my agency makes $750,000 every single month. Let that sink in. 750. And the only reason I got here is because I started thinking differently from everyone else around me. I realized early that money isn't made by working harder, it's made by having clearer thinking. Now, what I mean by that is when I was younger, I used to believe the same thing that everyone's told, growing up, go to school, get good grades, get a job, save money, retire one day, and then you can finally live. But if you really stop and think about that for a second, it's insanity. You spend the best years of your life, your 20s, trading time for money so you could hopefully enjoy the last 20 years of your life when your body's already slowing down. Now, that's not freedom, that's just a life of slow burn. And you need to understand this. Time is the only thing you will never get back. You can lose money and make it again. You can lose opportunities and find new ones. But the one currency you can never replenish is time. Every second that passes, it is gone forever. And that's why working a job you hate isn't just painful, it's actually expensive. And you're literally burning years of your life for someone else's dream. Now, would you rather let someone else decide your destiny or define your own? Because that's the real question. If you're giving your time away, for a paycheck, you're giving away your power and you're giving away your freedom with that. And you're doing it for what? Comfort. Not because it's your dream, but because it's the safe option. And the problem is, safety is an illusion. Now, the job you think is secure can disappear overnight. The economy can crash, companies can cut costs, and AI can replace roles, and you're left starting from zero. Meanwhile, the people who took risks early, the ones who built systems and learned skills, they're free. They're untouchable. That's why I always tell people, the goal isn't just to make money, the goal is to buy your time back. When you own your time, you control your life, and when you control your life, you control your destiny. But that doesn't happen by accident. Now, it starts with accountability. You have to stop blaming circumstances, luck, or timing. Now, nobody is coming to save you. Or me, no one. Not your parents, not your boss, not the government, definitely not the government. The outcome of your life is entirely on you, and that's the best news you could ever hear. Because if it's your fault, then it's also your control. And the moment I accepted full accountability, everything shifted. I stopped waiting for the perfect opportunity and started creating it. I stopped looking for validation and started building skills. I invested into myself, like my life depended on it, because it did. And courses, mentors, books, travel, connections, risk. I just poured everything into personal growth. And every dollar I spent on myself, it multiplied tenfold later. Because you see, people are scared to just invest in themselves. They'll spend money on weekends, clothes, cars. But when it comes to education, coaching, or tools, they freeze. They see it as an expense instead of, an investment in yourself, and that's what it is. And that's why they stay stuck. The only investment that never loses value is actually you. Because when you grow, your results grow, and when your thinking expands, your income expands. And here's what's crazy about this. Once I changed my mindset and started investing into myself, money stopped being the goal. It became the side effect. And the richer I got internally with knowledge, confidence, and discipline, the richer I became externally. So let's talk about time again. Think about how most people live. They wake up, hit snooze 3 times, rush to a job they don't like, sit in traffic, count down the hours till lunch, check the clock till 5, go home, scroll social media and repeat. And then they wonder why nothing changes. They're trading 5 days for 2, 40 years for a few moments of freedom at the end, and that's not living, that is surviving. You have to break out of that cycle. You have to see your time as sacred. Every hour you waste doing something that doesn't move you forward is a piece of your life you'll never get back. So that's where I built my agency. I didn't want to wake up one day and realize I'd spent my entire life working for someone else's vision. I wanted to create my own. And now, because I made that decision, I can travel anywhere, anytime. I've been traveling for the last year, while making $750,000 per month in the last few months. I'm not saying that to flex at all, but to simply show you what's possible when you think differently. I work from beautiful places like Thailand around the world. I take my meetings, from villas, coffee shops, beaches, airports. I run a business that gives me complete freedom. Meanwhile, most people are still waiting to save enough to travel. They're waiting for permission to live or asking the boss for time off. And the truth is, if you keep waiting, it'll never happen. There will always be another bill, another excuse, another reason why now isn't the right time. You have to stop waiting for perfect conditions. You just have to create them yourself. Now, money isn't about luxury. It's about having options. It's about being able to say no when everyone else has to say yes. It's about choosing where you live, what you do, and who you spend your time with. Now, real wealth isn't just numbers in your account. It's control, it's freedom. But to get there, you have to change how you see money. And most people think money is the goal. It's not. It's a byproduct of value. The more value you create, the more money you attract. And the problem is, most people never build the skills to create the value. They just chase the money. And that's why they stay broke. You don't attract wealth by, wanting it. You essentially attract it by becoming the kind of person who deserves it. And when I started my agency, I didn't focus on making millions. I focused on mastering skills that were worth millions. You see the difference? Communication, leadership, psychology, marketing, systems, those skills compound. They're what built the foundation for the agency that now does $750,000 per month. I became obsessed with improvement. Every day I was learning something new, testing, applying, refining. Most people just waste their time scrolling. I was using that time to study human behavior, persuasion, and performance. I realized success isn't about doing more, it's just about thinking better. Everything starts up here, right? And thinking better means asking better questions. Not how do I make money, but what problem can I solve? Not how do I work less, but how do I make my work produce more? Not how do I stay comfortable, but how do I grow? Now, those are the questions that change everything, because once you start asking the right questions, your mind starts finding the right answers. And when your mind then expands, your environment has to catch up. That's when life starts compounding. And the truth is, money alone won't make you happy. No. But what it does is it gives you freedom. And the freedom lets you find what happiness actually means to you. You can't discover yourself when you're stressed about rent. You can't chase a purpose when, you're chained to a paycheck. You have to buy your freedom first. That becomes above everything else. And you buy your freedom by building leverage, skills, systems, and income streams that pay you whether you're working or not. That's the game. The rich don't trade time for money. They trade ideas, assets, and systems. They understand compounding. They understand patience. And when you start to see the world like that, you stop chasing quick wins. You start building things that last. And you realize that you don't need to win the lottery. You just need to compound small wins over a period of time. That's exactly what I did. I didn't go from 0 to 750K overnight. It was built step by step. Each skill, each system, each decision stacked on top of the last until the momentum became so unstoppable. And here's the truth that most people don't want to hear. Getting rich requires sacrifice. Now, you can't become extraordinary living an ordinary lifestyle while everyone else was partying. I was working. Well, they were comfortable, I was uncomfortable, but that discomfort is what builds strength. And discipline is freedom disguised as pain. You have to be willing to walk away from average. You can't hang around people who settle and expect to rise. Your circle determines your ceiling. And if you're around people who complain, make excuses, and play small, you'll become one of them. You need to surround yourself with people who are going to demand more from life. People who challenge you to grow. And when you finally build that momentum, money starts to feel different. You reach a point, where you make so much, you actually question the meaning of it. That's the point I'm at now. You start to realize that money isn't the end. It's just a tool for freedom, for impact, for choice. And once your needs are met, the game changes. It becomes about purpose. That's what happened to me. So when I started making serious money, I realized that chasing numbers for the sake of numbers was so empty. So I started focusing on growth, on mastery, on helping others build their own version of freedom. Because when you help others win, you win bigger. And at this stage, money isn't the motivation anymore. It's like a scoreboard. What matters is how much impact I can create, how many people I can help escape the system, and how many can build something real. That's a stage you want to reach, where you no longer chase survival, you chase a level of significance. But to get there, you have to stop waiting for permission. You have to take control, and you have to start thinking like an owner, not an employee. Owners don't wait to be told what to do. They decide, they act, they learn, they grow, they're proactive. So ask yourself honestly, are you defining your destiny? Or are you letting someone else decide it for you? Are you trading your time for comfort or investing your time for freedom? Okay? You get one life, one shot, one stretch of time that you'll never get back. Every day you wake up, you're either building the life you want or maintaining the one you don't. And that choice, that daily decision determines everything for you. You have to think long term. Stop chasing these short dopamine hits and start building a legacy, something that matters. Build something that outlives you. Build something that gives you options. Because when you can wake up in any city in the world, open your laptop and know your systems are making you money while you enjoy your life, that's real wealth. It's not about the watches or cars that I've got in the UK. It's not about flexing. It's about peace. The kind of peace that comes from knowing you're in control, from knowing you don't owe anyone your time, from knowing you built something on your terms. That's what I want people to understand. The journey to wealth starts in your mind. Change the way you think and everything else follows. I'm living proof of that. My agency does $750,000 a month. I travel the world, I work on my own schedule, but none of that would have happened if I didn't change my mindset first. If I didn't start investing into myself, taking accountability and treating my time like it was priceless, because it is. If you can learn to think differently, to act intentionally, and to execute relentlessly, you'll look back one day and realize you've built the exact life that you used to dream about, just as I have. Money's not the goal, freedom is, and freedom starts with how you think. So don't waste another year, don't burn another day doing something you hate. The clock is ticking and it doesn't stop for anyone. So invest in yourself, take accountability, build something real, and when you get to the point where you've made so much money you start questioning the meaning of it, you'll finally understand that it was never about the money. It was about who you became on the way there. Now, there's a truth that most people don't want to hear. The truth is, right now, at this exact moment in time, you are living through the greatest wealth transfer in human history, and most people will sleep right through it. What is that, you may ask? The internet is creating more millionaires right now than at any other point in history. Every single day, ordinary people are building businesses, growing audiences, creating products, and turning ideas into money, all from a laptop. Now, no degree needed. No permission of anyone needed. And here's the wild part. The opportunity is everywhere, but almost nobody's taking it. Most people are watching from the sidelines. They're scrolling, consuming, talking about, one day, but never acting. They'll see other people building businesses, making moves, scaling to 6 and 7 figures a month. And they'll tell themselves, I'll start when I'm ready. But the truth is, you'll never be ready. You just have to start. See, the ones who win are the ones who take imperfect action, who move fast, who learn as they go. The internet doesn't reward perfection, it rewards momentum. I've said this before, my agency now does 750K every single month, and it's all built from the internet. But the reason I'm here isn't because I was the smartest or the most connected. I mean, now I am pretty connected, but it's because I took action before everyone else did. That was it when I started, and that's what I want you to understand, that timing is everything. Now, right now, we are living through a period that's like a TikTok in 2020, a complete gold rush. The platforms are fresh, the algorithms are generous, the attention is cheap, and the barrier to entry has never been lower. You can start something today from your bedroom that reaches millions of people by next week. That's the reality of the internet in 2025. But here's the problem. Most people are paralyzed by indecision. They overthink every single move. They tell themselves they need to learn more, or need to research more, or wait for the perfect idea. Meanwhile, someone else with less knowledge, way less experience, and less confidence just starts, and they end up winning. The world doesn't reward those who wait. It rewards those who execute. I want you to really think about this. 20 years ago, starting a business meant you needed tens of thousands in capital, an office space, staff, inventory, and risk. Today, all you need is a Wi-Fi connection and execution. The startup costs are almost zero and the potential upside is unlimited. You can literally build a digital business from your phone. You can learn any skill on YouTube for free. You can reach millions of people on social media for nothing. You can build systems, you can sell products, you can manage creators, you can consult clients all online. There's no excuse left. Like, what is your excuse? The problem isn't lack of opportunity anymore, it's lack of action. And everyone says they want freedom. They want time, money, location, choice. But freedom has a price, and the price is action. The price is accountability, the price is discomfort. And most people aren't willing to pay that price. They want the result without the responsibility. They want the lifestyle without the sacrifice. And they want the success, but they don't want to change. And that's the problem. And the truth is, you can't wait your way to freedom. You can only build your way to it. And right now, the internet is wide open. You can build an audience, you can build a brand, you can build a system that prints money while you sleep. But that window will not stay open forever. Look, at every major platform over the last decade, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, every single one of them went through a phase where organic reach was insane. Anyone could blow up, anyone could go viral, but then what happened? The opportunity shrank. Algorithms got saturated, ad costs went up, competition increased, and that's what's happening right now across the online business space. We're in the same golden window, the early stage where a small group of people are getting rich while everyone else is still sleeping on it. And if you're smart, this is your time. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. You don't need to have the next billion-dollar idea. You just need to identify a growing market and provide value to it. That's it. You could start an agency, You could build a personal brand, you could sell info products, you could do content creation, you could manage creators, you could offer consulting, start an e-com brand, or even run a short form media channel. And the options are endless. And the craziest part is the cost to start is basically nothing. You don't need an office. You don't need staff, you don't need much investment at all. You can bootstrap it. Like, the only investment you need is your time and your focus. And people underestimate what's possible when you go all in for just 1 year. You can literally change your entire life in 12 months if you stop overthinking and just start doing. And the internet is the great equalizer. It doesn't care where you're from, what your background is, or how much money you have currently. It only cares about output. If you produce, you win. If you sit back and consume, you lose. And that's the difference between winners and watchers. Winners are building, watchers are scrolling. And I want to be very clear. This isn't just, some motivational talk. This is real, practical economics. Every single industry is moving online. Every business is digital first. Every brand is building community and content. Attention has become the new currency. And if you can learn how to capture attention and then convert it, you'll never worry about money again. And this is what I built my agency on. Attention, systems, and execution. And it's the same formula you can use no matter what your niche is. But the clock is ticking. Every day that passes, more people wake up to this opportunity. More competitors enter the market. The early mover advantage gets smaller. You have to ask yourself, how many times are you going to watch someone else win before you decide it's your turn? Look, people love to talk about waiting for the right time, but the right time was yesterday. The next best time is right now. Because the truth is, the people who look up to you, the ones who seem untouchable, they all started before they were ready. They figured it out along the way. That's all it is. That's what I did. When I started my agency, I didn't have everything figured out. Did I? Fuck. I didn't have a team. I didn't have systems. I didn't have a brand, reputation. I just started. I took action. I learned fast, failed faster, and adapted. And that's the difference. I was willing to move before it actually made sense. That's the mindset you need right now. Stop trying to predict every outcome. Stop trying to have every step mapped out. Just start moving. Because when you move, things start happening. You meet people. You make mistakes, you learn, you grow, you get better, you build momentum, and momentum is everything. The people who win online aren't the ones who just plan perfectly. They're the ones who execute relentlessly. Now, let's talk about the scale of this opportunity for a second, right? There are 8 billion people on this planet. Over 5 billion are connected to the internet. That means you have access to more people than any generation in history ever could. That's not just opportunity, that is maximum leverage. You can post one piece of content that reaches millions. You can build one system that runs automatically. You can impact thousands without leaving your room. That's the kind of leverage the internet gives you. And when you combine that with consistency, everything then compounds. See, you can build something today that pays you for years. You can create one offer, one system, one idea that changes your life. That's the kind of opportunity most people will simply dream about, and it's sitting right in front of you, but only a small percentage will actually take it. Most people will hear this and still do nothing. They'll go back to scrolling, back to distractions, back to comfort, and in a few years, they'll look back and realize they've missed the moment again. That's what separates the 1% from everyone else. Action. The 1% act when everyone else hesitates. If you want freedom, real freedom I mean, this is your window. The internet is still young, the systems are accessible, the tools are affordable, and the knowledge is free. All you have to do is take responsibility and start. You have to stop thinking like a consumer and start thinking like a creator. Consumers spend, creators earn, consumers watch, creators build. See what I'm saying? Every time you scroll, someone's making money off your attention. Every ad, every click, every piece of content you consume is putting money in someone else's pocket. And the second you realize that, you'll never look at your phone the same way again. The game changes when you flip sides. When you move from consuming to creating, from reacting to producing. That's when you start taking control. And here's what's beautiful about this moment. You don't need permission to start. You don't need to wait for approval, funding, or a degree. The only thing stopping you is hesitation. I can tell you from experience, everything changes once you commit. Once you decide, I'm done waiting, I'm building now, your entire focus sharpens, your priorities shift, and you start seeing opportunities everywhere. And the people who were once lucky just become proof that it's possible. And when you start building online, your world expands. You start learning skills that make you valuable. Marketing, sales, communication, leadership, design, automation. Every skill compounds. And once you can make money from your phone, you'll never see the world the same way again. There is no going back. You'll realize that freedom isn't some distant dream. It's a skill set. It's something you can build brick by brick. And the best part, you don't need millions to start. You just need some momentum. Small wins, stack them. Every client, every sale, every post, every system, they all compound, okay? 1 year from now, just 1 year, 365 days, that's it. You could be in a completely different position. You could be living anywhere, like Thailand, working from anywhere, with complete control over your income. But that only happens if you start now. If you waste another year, another month, another week, nothing's gonna change. The opportunity doesn't wait for you. It moves on to the people who took the action. And I always tell people this, every day you hesitate, someone else is taking the spot that could have been yours. Someone else is getting that client, that audience, that momentum. Now, the internet doesn't care about your intentions, it just rewards your execution. So this is your moment. This is your TikTok 2020. This is your early YouTube, your early Instagram, your early crypto moment. The time where the few who act build empires while everyone else doubts. Now, the only question is here, will you act or will you scroll on? And if you take anything from this video, let it be this. Stop waiting for confidence. Confidence comes after action, not before it. You build belief by doing, not by planning. So start now, fail forward, learn fast, because if you wait until you're ready, you'll be waiting forever. The internet has leveled the playing field. The gatekeepers are gone. You have direct access to opportunity, to people, to markets, to freedom. The only thing left to do is execute. So stop overthinking, stop doubting, stop waiting for permission. You're alive right now, during the most disruptive, opportunity-rich time in human history. Do not waste it. Now is the time to take action. Because look, in 5 years, you're either gonna look back at this moment and say, I'm so glad I started, or I wish I had. One or the other. Which one are you gonna choose? Look, the choice is yours. Everyone's talking about making money online, but very few people are actually talking about what business model gives you the fastest, most realistic path to real freedom. And I'll tell you right now, it's not dropshipping, it's not SMMA, it's not affiliate marketing, crypto, or Amazon FBA, it's OFM, OnlyFans management. And before you roll your eyes or make assumptions like most people do, let me explain why this is the best business model in the world right now, especially if you want to escape the system, build digital leverage, and scale to 6 or 7 figures fast. Now, I'm speaking from experience here. My agency has made $750,000 in the last 30 days, and I started from nothing. No investors, no office, no fancy connections, just systems, strategy, and execution. And I want you to really understand why this business model works so well, because when you see it clearly, you'll realize you're sitting on one of the biggest wealth opportunities of this decade. So let's break it down. Reason number 1, the profit margins are insane. Most business models are broken. You either have high startup costs or tiny profit margins. So take e-commerce. You need to buy inventory, you need to pay for ads, handle shipping, returns, customer service, and even if everything goes right, you're lucky to keep 10 to 20% of the profit. But OFM is a completely different game. Now, why is that? You don't sell the products, you don't deal with any logistics, you manage attention, you build systems, you help creators monetize their audience, and you also take a percentage of the profit. Now, there are no material costs involved. No stock, no warehouses, no refunds. It's digital profit, pure margin. Now, an OFM agency can run at 60 to 80% profit margins consistently. That means if you make $10,000, you're keeping most of it. And when you build systems, when you train your chatters, hire managers, and scale creators, your costs barely increase, but your income skyrockets. And it's one of the only business models where scaling doesn't kill your profits. That's what makes it so powerful. Now, reason number 2, it's fast. Like ridiculously fast. I've built and tested nearly every online model, and nothing scales faster than OFM when done right. You can literally go from 0 to 10,000 a month in under 30 days. Here's why. You don't need to build a product. You also don't need to build like a massive audience, because you don't even need paid ads to begin with. You're just providing a service that already has demand, creators who want to make more money. Simple. They're everywhere, and I mean everywhere. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, millions of them. And all you need to do is provide value, bring traffic, manage the chats, optimize the pages, and take your cut. If you know how to sign one creator, bring in traffic through Instagram Reels or Reddit, and close the subs properly, you can make thousands in your first month. Really, thousands, tens of thousands. And once you have a repeatable process, an outreach system, a chatting system, a content system, you can duplicate it across multiple models and multiply your results instantly. Do you see the scalability here? That's exactly what I did. I started with 3 creators, I built systems, I refined the data. Now we're at 750K a month and growing. This isn't some bullshit. This isn't any luck. This is just pure execution. And reason 3, the demand is exploding. Let's talk about attention for a second. The creator economy is the fastest growing industry on the planet. The fastest growing industry. Every year, billions of dollars flow through online platforms, and creators are at the center of it. OnlyFans alone processed over $5 billion in payments last year, and that number is rising every single month. But here's the problem. Most creators don't know how to run their business. They don't know how to drive traffic, convert subs, or retain the fans. They're artists, not strategists. And that's where you come in. As an OFM agency, you bridge that gap. You provide the structure, the marketing, the systems, and the monetization that creators really need. And because the industry is still young, the supply of good agencies is still very small, but the demand is massive. Every day, new creators are joining the platform. Every day, existing creators want better management. You step into a booming market with very little competition. That's the kind of timing that made early SMMA owners rich in 2016. It's like getting into Bitcoin in 2011, when everyone laughed at it, but the ones who got in early became millionaires, the ones that stuck at it anyway. Now, this is your moment, and reason 4, it teaches you every core business skill. Here's what most people don't realize. OFM isn't just about managing creators, it's about mastering business. Running an OFM agency forces you to learn the most valuable digital skills on the planet, the same ones that apply to every industry. You learn marketing, how to attract attention and convert it into money. You learn sales, how to close deals, handle objections, and communicate value. You learn systems, how to automate processes and scale efficiently. Team building, how to hire, train, and manage people. You learn psychology, how to understand human behavior and then monetize on emotion. And every one of those skills is worth 6 figures by itself. That's why even if you eventually move out of OFM, the experience makes you unstoppable. You'll walk away knowing how to run teams, scale brands, and sell digital services anywhere. That's real leverage. Now, reason 5, the startup cost is basically 0. This one's huge. To start most businesses, you need capital, you need investors, equipment, or software. But with OFM, you can literally start with nothing but, a laptop and Wi-Fi. You don't need a product, you don't need ad spend, you don't need an office, you just need time, effort, and execution. You can start by managing one creator, doing outreach yourself, handling the chats, and building experience. And once you have proof of results, you can hire people, scale systems, and compound your income. It's like learning to drive. Once you know how to do it, you can do it anywhere and in any market as well. And right now, while the industry is still early, the upside is enormous. Reason 6, it buys you back time and freedom. This is the part most people miss. OFM isn't just about making money, it's about the leverage it gives you and the lifestyle. Because everything happens online, you can run your agency from anywhere in the world. Laptop, Wi-Fi, and systems, that's all you need. And while most people are chained to a desk, you're free. Like, genuinely free. You can work from London, Dubai, Bali, Lisbon, Thailand, wherever you want. You're not tied to one location, one boss, one country. You're building a business that gives you control over your time. That's the real definition of wealth, choice. And when your systems are built, the business runs even when you're not working, and your team handles the daily operations, your creators, they generate the revenue, and you focus on growth and lifestyle. That's what I've built. That's what I live right now. Reason 7, it's still early, but that's changing fast. Right now, OFM is at the same stage SMMA was in 2016. Barely anyone's talking about it. But behind the scenes, agencies are quietly making hundreds of thousands a month and millions a month. And like any industry, the early adopters are the ones who get rich. So once the mainstream catches on, competition will flood in. It will, like any other industry. Barriers will rise, margins will shrink. That's why now is the time to get in. Not next year, not when you're ready, right now. Because a year from now, the opportunity will look completely different. You'll either be one of the people scaling 6 figures with systems running, or one of the people saying, I wish I started when I first saw that video. And reason 8, the results are predictable. Here's what I love about OFM. It's data driven, okay? Every decision, every strategy, every message is measurable. You can track things like subscriber conversions, open rates, response rates, PPV revenue, retention rate. It's not guesswork, it's all a science. And you can see exactly what's working and exactly what's not working. And you can scale based on facts, not feelings. That's why I call OFM a system business. Once you master the system, so outreach, chatting, traffic, retention, you can just replicate them infinitely. Like, you can take one process that works for one creator and apply it to 20. And when you do that, your income multiplies, like exponentially. That's what I did. I refined the data, I tested every traffic method, Reddit, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and I studied what works for each niche. Then I built a machine that scales effortlessly, and now my systems generate revenue around the clock. I'm about to move again because it's raining, but let's crack on anyway. So, reason 9, look, referrals compound the business. This is something nobody talks about. When you deliver a great service in OFM, what happens then is creators talk, and when they talk, they will refer. So we've built referral systems that reward creators for bringing others in. Some of our models make an extra 5K a month just from referrals, and that's how you scale organically without ads, word of mouth, social proof, results that speak for themselves. You don't need to chase creators or chase clients when you deliver excellence. They just come to you. Once that starts happening, your growth becomes exponential. And reason 10, it's a long-term play. This isn't some trend. This is not some short-term hustle. OFM is built on timeless fundamentals: traffic, conversion, retention, and management. And those fundamentals don't disappear. They evolve. The creator economy is only getting bigger. AI, automation, and social media are accelerating the demand for management and monetization systems. Every year, the opportunity expands, and those who built strong foundations early on will own the market. That's why this isn't a quick cash grab. It's a real business, a scalable, automated, sustainable business that gives you freedom, income, and leverage. And I'll say this one last time: OFM is the most powerful and profitable and realistic online business model in the world right now. It's digital, it's scalable, it's low cost, it's extremely high margin, and it gives you complete freedom. You can start from nothing, learn the systems, and build something that changes your life forever. But you have to act now. The opportunity window is open, and it won't stay that way forever. So if you're ready to stop dreaming and start executing, if you want to learn the exact systems my agency uses to generate $750,000 per month, then press the link in my bio. Now, inside, you'll learn about how to start your own OFM agency from scratch, how to sign creators, scale up the traffic, automate the chats, and build a business that prints freedom. And I'll walk you through it step by step. No bullshit, not just in theory, but I'll just show you the proven systems. So if you're serious, if you're done watching everyone else win, then this is your moment. Click the link below, learn the systems, start building, because the people who act now will own the next 5 years of this industry, and everyone else, they'll just wish they'd have started sooner. Your freedom starts with action, and your action starts right now. Let's build. So if you drew some value from this video, hit the thumbs up button, hit subscribe, comment what you want to see next. Yeah, peace. See you in the next one.